The breathers are a common problem here. The replacement parts are very expensive, and the cheap replacement parts are apparently very problematic. They clog up too much, too quickly, and shoot motor oil out of the dipstick hole. So we're not going to mess around with aftermarket parts, and right now it's just not in my budget to get a new one. I think it's something like $700, so we're going to try to fix the leak as best we can with the old one intact. If you want to look over here at the leak I'm talking about, all the way along the top of the engine here, it's kind of forward and leaking all the way back, and it really gets bad back there. I'm going to take this cover off, and I believe the problem is the gasket underneath this breather assembly, so we've pulled that off. So we're going to clean up this breather. I've already cleaned this up a little bit, but I believe this gasket is the problem all along here. I just don't think that's making a good seal anymore, and that's what's letting all that oil leak out. While I've got this off, we're going to clean this up. The way we're doing that, so grab right here and wiggle that out. The filter may or may not come with it, but this piece comes out on its own. Then the filter comes out, and there's an O-ring probably going to be stuck in the filter. It might be stuck down here on the outside of that ring. But get that O-ring out of there. Then we're going to clean all this up. Now this one, I've already soaked it pretty well with diesel fuel. That worked pretty good. Got a lot of oil out of it, but I was afraid the diesel fuel wasn't going to dry out of it in any reasonable amount of time. So I tried to remove the diesel fuel with acetone. I don't think acetone's the best thing for this job. I've read that online, that that's what other people have used, and it just didn't seem to do much. It didn't take any more oil out, and it didn't seem to remove the diesel fuel. So my next step was brake cleaner. It's night and day what it looked like before. I wish I had run the camera a little bit. This was a gooey black mess with this sleeve over it. And the more I cleaned it, the more I kind of damaged this sleeve here, especially when I got the shop vac involved and started blowing through this. So I've taken the sleeve off, put some paper towels in there, cleaned that up real good, dapped it down, cleaned up as best I could, sprayed this with some brake cleaner because I know that'll wash out the diesel fuel and then evaporate pretty quickly. So now that we've got that all cleaned up, we're going to put it back together. Slide that back on there as close as I can to how it was. Since I cleaned all this up, it was kind of gunky and grimy. I cleaned it up with diesel fuel, and that diesel fuel is not evaporating the way I want it to. So I'm going to clean this up with brake cleaner before we go any farther. While we've got the breather off, is a good time to clean up some spots that you're never able to clean when everything is put together. Now I don't want to get any chemicals down inside the engine here, so I'm not spraying it. I'm only spraying the rag and then wiping. I'm not sure if that's, oops, yep, not sure if that's a good idea. And then I drop a little piece of cloth down in there. I'm going to get that out. What a perfect example of why to watch the videos before we do this stuff. See, I've never done this before, so learn from my mistakes. Don't do that. I don't want to wipe any of that dirt down into the engine either. So I think we're going to call that good. Yeah, swing back over here. The plastic parts we sprayed with brake cleaner have definitely dried up in just a couple of minutes. So I'm feeling pretty confident that this big spool of string here has dried up in the hours it's been left since brake cleaner was used to clean that. So we're going to put it back together. First, nice clean O-ring goes down there on the bottom. And make sure it goes around like so. And then the filter goes back on, string filter. There we go. I felt that kind of snap in onto the O-ring. Then this little piece, that tongue pops into a groove way down there. Trying to let you see it while I see it too. There we go. Then the top, of course, goes into the center of the filter. Done. I don't need to fill that straw. Figuring out how to do better. So I'm going to clean it there. There's no gasket through here, so I'm not going to put any gasket maker there. Cap the ultra black. And double check. Yeah, we're ready to put this back in. Grab a couple clean bolts here. I'll come back for the others. This hose goes towards the front and the right hand side. How's it look? Looks pretty good to me. Here we go now.
Can we get on the other side?
Yeah.
Good landing. Fitting with the airplane noises.
Elon Musk couldn't land it better than that. I didn't tighten these down with the machine. I'm going to hand tighten them only for right now, and I probably should do it in somewhat of a star pattern. I didn't tighten them down with the battery ratchet. I just kind of brought them down to where they're close. So now I can bring them down like this. And then we're going to let it set however long it says on the label, the Permatex label. We're going to let it set and let that Permatex cure before we tighten it down. Because, you know, most of us don't do that. We just get it wet, we stick it on there, we tighten it up, and we send it out. Maybe I shouldn't try to speak for the rest of the world like that, but that's the history I've seen. There it is. Let dry for 1 hour, then tighten to torque specifications. That gives us plenty of time to go look up the torque specifications, doesn't it? Then allow 24 hours to fully cure before filling with fluids or returning to service. So, yeah, that gives us plenty of time to do some other work on the van.
I should.
Oh yeah, that was the first one. Alright, and then just double check, make sure I got them all. I don't. Now double check, make sure I got them all.
Yep. Yep.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's how many I took out, so that must be all of them.
And what's that torque spec again?
11 Newton meters.
We'll flash a graphic up here.
Yeah, while I'm in here, I'm also doing the high pressure fuel pump service.
Yeah.
I didn't want to film that again.
Florida Van Man would like you to meet our latest neighbor. As we speak. What the? Hey, you don't live here. You don't pay rent. Scram. Oh, he's scurrying.